It's horrible outside, isn't it? The weatherman says it's going to snow for another few hours yet. It's a whiteout outside. Come and relax. Step into my living room. It's gorgeous. I lit the fire about 2 hours ago. It's a big roaring flames illuminating my cozy living room. I pull up this chair right next to the fire. The cat's asleep there, so you snuggle up beside him. I get a nice warm blanket for you. The tree, I've just put it up today. What do you think? It's gorgeous, isn't it? The nice cozy lights, you can see them from the outside. They look gorgeous. It looks very inviting, doesn't it? Can you hear those logs cracking on the open fire? And feeling the heat radiating against your cheeks? Here, I'll give you a nice steaming cup of hot chocolate. You just relax, and if you fall asleep, then that's fine. I bought this new book today. It's called Letters from Father Christmas, and it's written by JRR Tolkien. I was going to read it, but now that you're here, perhaps I can read it out aloud, and you can just listen to it. If you do fall asleep and you're that so comfortable, you just drop off, then that's not a problem. It's important that you just relax. Let me do all of the talking. Now this book is a very special book, and JRR Tolkien absolutely adored his children. And what he'd do every year is he would write them a letter from Father Christmas, and they would receive it. Let me just give you, read the introduction for you, see what you think. To the children of JRR Tolkien, the interest and importance of Father Christmas extended beyond his filling of their stockings on Christmas Eve. For he wrote a letter to them every year in which he described in words and pictures his house, his friends, and the events hilarious or alarming at the North Pole. The first of his letters came in 1920 when John, the eldest, was 3 years old, and for over 20 years through the childhoods of his 3 other children, Michael, Christopher, and Priscilla. They continued to arrive each Christmas. Sometimes the envelopes dusted in snow and bearing polar postage stamps were found in the house on the morning after his visit. Sometimes the postman brought them, and the letters that the children wrote themselves vanished from the fireplace when nobody was about. As time went on, Father Christmas's household became larger, and whereas his first little is heard of anyone else except the North Polar Bear, later on there appear themselves snow elves, red gnomes, snowmen, cave bears, and the polar bear's nephews, Paksu and Yolkaduka, who came to visit and never went away. But the polar bear remained Father Christmas's chief assistant, and the chief cause of all the disasters that would lead to muddles and delicacies in the Christmas stockings, and sometimes he wrote on the letters his comments in angular capitals. Eventually, Father Christmas took on his secretary, an elf named Ibereth, and in the later letters, elves examples of Father Christmas's shaky handwriting, and most of the pictures he sent here are reproduced. Also included is the alphabet that the polar bear devised from the goblin drawings on the walls of the caves where he was lost, and the letter that he sent to the children written on it. So, if you wouldn't mind, and you're very, very comfortable, how is that hot chocolate? Yes, it's fantastic, isn't it? Well, I'm going to start reading some of the letters that he wrote to his children. Starting with the first one, which was from 1920. Imagine that. But this was received on the 22nd of December 1920. And it reads, Dear John, which was Mr. Tolkien's eldest son. I heard you ask Daddy what I was like and where I lived. I have drawn me and my house for you. Take care of that picture. I'm just off now for Oxford with my bundle of toys and some are for you. I hope I shall arrive in time. The snow is very thick in the North Pole tonight. Your loving Father Christmas. The next letter here is from 1923. Christmas Eve, 1923. My dear John, it is very cold today and my hand is very shaky. I am 7 years old on Christmas Day. Lots older than your great-grandfather, so I can't stop the pen from wobbling. But I hear you've been getting so good at reading, I expect you'll be able to read my letter. I send you lots of love, and lots of love for your brother Michael too. And lots bricks too, which are called that because there are lots more for you to have next year if you let me know in good time. I think they are prettier and stronger and tidier than sticker bricks, so I hope you will like them. Now I must go. It's a lovely, fine night, and I've got hundreds of miles to go before morning. There is such a lot to do. A cold kiss from Father Nicholas Christmas. And that's the letter that he actually wrote. It's reproduced on the next page. And that is unmistakably JRR Tolkien's writing. Wow, what a guy. The next letter is from 1924. Dear Michael Hillary, I am very busy this year. No time for letter. Lots of love. Hope the engine goes well. Take care of it. A big kiss with love from Father Christmas. December the 23rd, 1924. Dear John, hope you've had a very happy Christmas. Only time for a short letter as my sleigh is waiting. Lots of new stockings to fill this year. Hope you will like station and things. A big kiss with love from Father Christmas. From 1925, Cliff House, top of the world near the North Pole. Christmas 1925. This is to John and Michael Tolkien. My dear boys, I am dreadfully busy this year. It makes my hand more shaky than ever when I think about it. And not very rich, in fact. Awful things have been happening. And some of my presents have got spoiled, and I haven't got the North Polar Bear to help me. So I've had to move house just before Christmas, so you can imagine what a state everything is in. And you will see why I have a new address, and why I can only write one letter between you both. It happened like this. One very windy day last November, my hood blew off and went and stuck on the top of the North Pole. I told him not to, but the North Polar Bear climbed up on top of the thin roof to get it down, and he did. The pole broke in the middle and fell off the roof of my house, and the North Polar Bear fell through the hole which made it into the dining room, with my hood all over his nose, and all of the snow fell off the roof into the house and melted and put out all the fires and ran down into the cellars, where I was collecting this year's presents, and the North Polar Bear's leg got broken. He is well again now, but I was so cross with him that he says he wouldn't try to help me again. I expect his temper is hurt and will be mended by next Christmas. I send you a picture of the accident with my new house on the cliffs above the North Pole, with beautiful cellars in the cliffs. If John can't read my shaky writing, 1,925 years old, he must get his father to. When is Michael going to learn to read and write his own letters to me? Lots of love to you both, and Christopher, whose name is rather like mine. That's all. Goodbye, Father Christmas. And this one from 1926. This one was written on Monday, the 20th of December, 1926, and it reads, My dear boys, I am more shaky than usual this year. The North Polar Bear's fault. It's the biggest bang in the world and the most monstrous firework there's ever been. It turned out the North Pole black and shook all the stars out of place, broke the moon into four, and the man in it fell into my back garden. He ate quite a lot of my Christmas chocolate before he said he felt better and climbed back to mend it and get the stars tidy. Then I found out the reindeer had broken loose and were running around all over the country, breaking reins and ropes and tossing presents up in the air. They were all packed up to start, you see. Yes, it only happened this morning, and it was a sleigh load of chocolate things which I always send to England early. I hope yours aren't badly damaged. But isn't the North Polar Bear silly? And he isn't a bit sorry. Of course he did it. You remember I had to move last year because of him. The tap for turning on the Rory Bory Eyeless fireworks is still in the cellar of my old house. And the North Polar Bear knew he should never touch it. I only let it off on special days like Christmas, and he said he thought it cut off since we moved. Anyway, he's nosing around the ruins this morning soon after breakfast. He hides things to eat there, you right, can you? I think the polar bear spoiled the picture rather. Of course he can't draw with those great big fat paws. Rude. I can and write without shaking. By going and putting a bit of his own about me chasing the reindeer, and I heard him laughing. He did laugh, and I did when I saw him trying to draw reindeer and inking his nice white paws. Father Christmas had to hurry away and leave me to finish. He's old and gets worried when funny things happen, but you would have laughed too. I think it's good of me laughing, and it's a lovely firework. The reindeer will run away quick to England this year, and they're still frightened. I must go and help pack. I don't know what Father Christmas would do without me. He always forgets to do a lot of packing I do for him. The snowman is addressing our envelopes this year. He is Father Christmas's gardener, but we don't get much but snowdrops and frost ferns to grow here. He always writes in white and just with his finger. A Merry Christmas to you from the North Polar Bear. And love from Father Christmas to you all. That one was dated in 1926. I'm feeling a little sleepy now myself, and you certainly look very comfortable there. I'm just going to close my eyes too and watch those dancing flames on the logs and just let myself drift off to sleep. I'll see you soon.